Opponent of a comprehensive plan.
Well, there's a buzzword that we've heard so much of before. Joe Sestak, come in on this, will you? Americans have been wanting to know now for certainly more than a month, why can't we arm these crews so that they can protect themselves against these pirates? And we just heard the captain of a ship that was taken hostage say he doesn't think it's a good idea. Can you shed some light on this?
I think he has a point here. We start arming our mariners, and first of all, what a great hero he is.
Yeah, no question. But this guy gave his life. This guy, in case you missed it, viewers, this is the man who gave or sacrificed his own life for the sake of his crew, and then was taken hostage by the three. I'm telling you, it's a movie of the week. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. You know, my experience is that once you begin at a certain level of conflict, it inevitably rises unless you have overwhelming force. And that's why we have a Navy that's forward deployed, not sitting here at home. In order to be out there with that overwhelming force, you can begin arming them, but is it just 5 men, and then all of a sudden it's 10 men and women? How far do you escalate this? No, this inevitably has to be why we purchased our Navy and why the U.S. Constitution says maintain navies, raise armies when you need them. This is our job in the U.S. Navy because we could convoy them. There's only 50 ships that go north bound past Somalia each day and 50 southbound. We did it in the Persian Gulf in the mid-'80s in the middle of the Iraq-Iran war. There's various ways for us to do this. And we need to put the onus on the mariner isn't how we've done it historically, nor should we now.
And who better to be a part of the process of setting up some strategy or some technique for doing that than you? I mean, you're not only a congressman, you're a former admiral, and you're probably as proficient with these types of strategies as anybody else. And speaking of strategies, before I let you go, because I know we're going to be monitoring this situation, I do have to ask you a political question.
Sure.
Given what's been going on in the state of Pennsylvania, given that you're a Pennsylvanian, given that Arlen Specter is now a Democrat, there was a lot of talk that you would be running for that Senate seat. What are your plans now? Have they changed? Have you spoken to the president? Have you spoken to Democrat Specter?
No, actually, I've spoken to no one. Senator Menendez actually gave me a call. I responded, but I haven't heard back yet. And he's got much more important things to do than I'm putting the totem pole. Here's what I believe. The Democratic political establishment in Washington, D.C. can say whatever they want, and we need to listen to it. But at the end of the day, this decision is going to be made by us very independent-minded Pennsylvanians. I'm in a district that's 53% Republican, 37% Democrat. I wouldn't have gotten elected as a Democrat unless they were independent-minded. And I always remember, Rick, when I got out of the Navy and I went up to my district and told a county chairman that I intended to get in the race, he said, call the DCCC. I said, call the what? Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. And when I called them, they said, we don't want you in the race. We have someone else. Called me back the next day to say the same thing. And I said, I wasn't asking, I was informing you. I learned from there. You need to listen to the Democratic political leadership. I have high respect for them. But at the end of the day, it's Arlen Specter found it was too hard to run against someone.
Yeah.
That's not what politics is about. It's about what are you running for? And I haven't seen his vote is going to change, so what is he going to run for? And if he's got the right answers, he may be the man.
And if he doesn't?
If he doesn't, I have not made my final decision. And I think the types of issues we confront in Pennsylvania, healthcare reform, where he opposed it in the 90s.
Yeah.
But now today, does he have a plan to cover everyone in an accessible, affordable way? Think about what we have overseas and our defense transformation we need, the Secretary Gates has proposed. What does he say about that? Because we have, in Pennsylvania, the largest deployments since World War II of our National Guard overseas. How do we take care of them with the right future?
Well, I'll tell you.
Those are the issues I got to hear.
Yeah, well, you know, I'll tell you, it would be, Admiral Joe, if you go after Arlen Specter's seat, I can tell you this, it would be a fun race to watch either way. The only issue here, though, is he seems to have gotten some assurances from the President of the United States, pardon me, both in terms of resources and commitment to appear and campaign for him.
Yes, he has.
That'd be tough to buck.
Well, you know, again, I was quite taken that my election across the country and his also was coming to Washington to change the establishment, not to reestablish the establishment, which is kind of happening here. I was also, though, taken by this wonderful president by what he said when Arlen came over. He said, look, I expect him to disagree. So I think he's that kind of a man that if a Democrat were to disagree, he'd understand.
Joe Sestak, Admiral / Congressman. Always get those in. As usual, thanks so much for taking time to take us.
Thanks for having me, Rick, and thanks for thinking about the guy who's sitting in the diner in Upper Darby, Lanark Diner. Take care.
All right. See you
That's
later.
who's got to make the decision. Bye-bye.
You got it.